Last year, we launched the initiative itself, and it came out of the idea that IBM typically focuses on bringing technology for business profits and succeed in innovation for our customers. But in this era, there was the thought of, what if we could take 23 million developers, give them access to technology, subject matter experts, but focus them on society's most pressing issues. And the idea of Call for Code was, natural disasters is one of society's most pressing issues. What if we could bring the industry, but make a call to the 23 million developers to say, how can we reduce human suffering and ultimately save lives? Last year, we kicked it off with a $30 million investment from IBM over 5 years. And the results from last year were 100,000 developers participated.
Wow.
Over 156 nations participated, and we yielded about 2,500 applications. Ultimately, a company by the name of Project Owl, or a group by the name of Project Owl, won. But the whole purpose of Call for Code was not the challenge itself, and not the competition itself, but to see some of these things really see implementation. And so, we worked with Project Owl, gave them access to some of our best technologists to help harden their systems for better security and scale. And then ultimately used IBM's presence in the ecosystems and in the industries and society in general, and gave them access to areas of the world that would help them explore the effectiveness of their solutions. So earlier this year, we had them do a field deployment test working with the government of Puerto Rico. So we were actually in Puerto Rico, having the Puerto Rico government help and aid and oversee the field test to test its effectiveness in case of hurricane season. The second field deployment test was done in Houston, where again, we worked with the state and local governments of Houston. And this is the difference. This is the difference between other competitions in the world and what Call for Code is all about. It's not just a competition, it's not just the $200,000 prize money, it's the ability to partner with the Linux Foundation, have the solution be open sourced as a project so that it's durable and can continue to evolve within the community, and it's IBM and its ecosystem partners like the United Nations Human Rights Office to come together and say, then how can we actually see these things in practice, deployed in the field, really seeing the effects of the solutions themselves. Laurent, our partner in the UN, is very, very concerned about how can technology impact his human rights mission. And IBM has such a long history in its social good that this type of initiative fits directly in line with all of its principles. As much as we want business success, we need society essentially success as well. We saw another solution that was rooted in a team that was in Peru, where there was a lot of earthquakes coming from that area. Yeah. And the question was, after an earthquake, how can I make a judgment call of whether or not my house is inhabitable or the building is inhabitable? And how can I make a very quick judgment call on how can I repair it, retrofit it, or that you cannot occupy it? And so they use visual recognition and AI to make that judgment call and reduce the time for those families to get back into their buildings. So we've seen a wide variety of different types of solutions. And again, I think it's an amazing thing when you bring together technologists, you bring together subject matter experts, and then you bring together organizational and business leaders to focus in on something like human disasters and reducing human suffering, and not only just seeing the technology in place, but seeing it in action inside of the world. Yes. You know, one of the things we'd love for folks to join us on is next week, we have a hack coming up in June 15th and 16th. So join us for this year's Call for Code hack at Bikini Berlin, June 15th and 16th. We'd love to see as many developers out as possible.